What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my channel. Obviously, if you are new, what I do here is I break down the occult sciences and I break them down to a very practical level so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with the things that it is that I am speaking about and that I am teaching. Okay? Without further ado, let me give you a little bit of clarity on who it is that you're getting this information from. My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in the entire Kabbalistic tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 major arcana of the tarot deck, and I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies, as you see right here, in correspondence with astrology. Okay? Now, jumping right out the gate, I just want to say this. Obviously, if you are someone who listens in and watches my YouTube channel, you will know that this is a new addition right here with the microphone that I'm using. This is a Blue Yeti X, so this is definitely going to increase the quality of my sound. And obviously, this is a new addition, so I have yet to get a mic stand. So just bear with me as I hold the microphone in the video. But other than that, once again, these YouTube videos are designed to give you high quality teaching and just share with you my perspective on the occult field as an actual professional occultist who is a practitioner. Okay, so the sound quality should definitely be an upgrade to my channel for those of you that listen in. So what is the topic of our today's video? I think today's topic is going to be a very valuable topic. I think it's going to be a very fun topic to cover at that. Okay, so specifically what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be speaking about Yaldaboath. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going into some of the secrets of this entity and this being of what Yaldaboath really is. I'm going to share things about Yaldaboath that you may have never heard before. And once again, this is coming from my perspective as someone who is a professional occultist, someone who has had communion many different times over with a lot of these forces in regards to spirits associated with Kabbalah, primarily the darker side of the Kabbalah being the Kliboth. Once again, as somebody who's had a lot of experience hands-on and has had communion with a lot of these spirits, this is where my perspective is going to be coming from in regards to the topic of Yaldaboath. So once again, this may be information that you have not heard anywhere else, although you may have heard this before. There are definitely other people who are coming from a similar perspective as I am in regards to this Gnostic belief of Yaldaboath and basically how the world is structured currently in our today's time. So once again, if you are interested in learning the truth and the realness of how our planet Earth is being influenced in today's time by this Yaldaboath-like understanding from the Gnostic tradition, then this is definitely your video. And if you'd like to know a little bit more about Yaldaboath and the secrets of Yaldaboath, stay tuned. Okay, so let's jump right in. So let's give a brief perspective on what Yaldaboath is. Okay, Yaldaboath is going to be this entity that appears in the Gnostic tradition. And it is this entity that is given governance over the planet Earth. So basically, it's an entity that has structured the matrix, you could even say the multiverse, on our planet Earth and is given rulership over the angels and the demons and the Matrix itself. So basically, not only is it given rulership over angels and demons, it is the creator of angels and demons as a part of the multiverse. So, from the Gnostic tradition, once again, this is a brief nutshell. I do encourage everyone to look into the mythology and the tradition yourself. You can easily find more information on that, just by studying it and looking for it on YouTube. But in a nutshell, Yaldaboath is this being that once again was given control over Earth, the Matrix on Earth, and the forces that reside on Earth in direct connection with the angelic, the demonic, and even other forces. Okay? But this has to be mentioned as well. There is also known within the tradition of Gnosticism that there is this other entity known as the Pistis Sophia, which basically is this mother, feminine, nurturing like energy that essentially has created the Yaldabaoth and has given it governance over the earth. But the Yaldabaoth essentially gets out of hand and creates mass chaos on the planet, designing the Matrix in that specific way to create more chaos, because the Yaldabaoth forgot basically that he is not the most powerful being on the planet. So Yaldabaoth thinks he is the one and the only supreme being in basically all of the universe, when in reality, this other entity being, you could think of this like feminine, mother-like energy that's very close to the source of all creation, very close to this architect of the universe. In reality, she created the Yaldabaoth. So then she observes how Yaldabaoth creates mass chaos on the planet Earth, and she gets upset. She gets very frustrated with that. So then, in a nutshell, what happens is she comes back to the planet to harvest, to basically usurp the Yaldabaoth and crash Yaldabaoth and Yaldabaoth's creation down. And then, obviously, a new multiverse can get structured, one that is outside of the influence of Yaldabaoth. Okay? So the same mother energy that created the Yaldabaoth essentially becomes the same mother energy that comes back in the perfect timing to harvest all of the chaos that was produced by Yaldabaoth, bring it all crashing in flames to the ground, and then something else can be rebuilt from that. So that's in a nutshell what the Gnostic tradition is based around. So where does this Gnostic tradition primarily stem from? Well, this is not something I'm going to go into major depth within this video, but I do want to give you these golden nuggets so that if anyone's listening to this, you can, if you want, take it to that level. The Gnostic tradition is in very close, you could say, proximity with the Sumerian tradition in regards to Enki and Enlil, and understanding a little bit more about the Anunnaki. So there's your golden nuggets. If you want to go into it in depth and you want to be able to draw some comparisons between these two traditions, then go and do so. I'm doing so myself. I'm still learning more about this myself, but I do have a very strong awareness of Yaldabaoth, and that's exactly why I'm making this video now, because this is definitely going to offer value. to those of you that want the value and are going to run with it. And once again, I'm going to give you a perspective that not even a lot of people coming from this Gnostic perspective are even going to share with you. Once again, coming from someone as myself, who is embedded within Kabbalistic initiation, specifically geared towards the darker side of it. As I mentioned, the Qliphoth, the demons, the archdemons, understanding the black arts and how it's being used in the world today to control the mass collective. So once again, I am somebody who completely embraces it. I'm not trying to change the system and recreate the wheel. I use it myself, but my main directive for this video is to give you this awareness coming from somebody who uses the dark arts, of someone who is embracing the dark arts, but also is aware of Yaldaboath. And this is why my perspective is probably going to be a little bit different from the average person on YouTube's perspective who studies mythology, studies philosophy, and studies history. Okay, this is why mine's going to be probably a little bit different from someone who not only studies philosophy, studies the history, the ancient history, but somebody who actually embraces these ancient forces, has communion with them myself, and has learned a lot of this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding from the direct source of where a lot of it comes from. Okay, so let's go right into it. So I should have drawn a open door of who I am and why I'm going to have the perspective I have. And that's exactly why I created that intro. And you should have a solid perspective of what the Gnostic mythology and tradition is in a very slight nutshell. Okay, I just gave you like a little nutshell of the general summary of this idea of Yaldaboath. Okay, so as I said, going right into it now. So Yaldaboath, in its root, is going to be something extraterrestrial. Okay, and I'm giving you the red pill right now. This is no sugarcoating. This is something very deep. And once again, you're not going to necessarily hear this from everybody. But going right into it, Yaldaboath is something extraterrestrial. This entire Gnostic understanding and awareness is coming from something extraterrestrial and interdimensional. Okay, it's coming from some higher level intelligence in regards to some transcendental, we could say, species that is primarily trying to harvest energy from our planet Earth and the living beings on Earth known as the humans. Okay, so this primarily is what Yaldaboath is representing. On our planet Earth, there is a lot of organic matter. Okay, we are literally the most physical plane there is. And there's a lot of light energy on our planet, therefore, once again, making it the most organic planet. Now, not saying that it's all organic. We are balanced creatures as well. We carry inorganic energy, but we also carry a large portion of organic energy. Okay. Now, when you zoom out and you look at the universe, you will find that 96% of the universe is what we call dark energy. Then there's a smaller percentage, somewhere around the 10% marker, that's dark matter energy. And then an even smaller percentage, which is somewhere like, I believe, around the 4%, somewhere around there, that's light energy. Okay. So, as I've mentioned in other videos and even in live streams, it's not a big stretch to say that there is some other species that exists within the universe that is not solid like we are and has a much more conscious awareness of occult sciences, transcendental sciences, that would be trying to harvest energy from the human organic beings on our planet. As I said, it is not a far stretch to understand that and to see that that could very well and is a possibility. So let's come right out of the gate and let's recognize that this is exactly what's going on. There is some form of species that is directly trying to harvest energy from our planet Earth. Now, in regards to what the human species has done throughout ancient history, is we have created mythologies to help certain cultures and traditions to understand this red pill or this concept that I'm speaking about with something extraterrestrial trying to harvest energy from the humans on our planet. Okay? So, with that being said, what is Yaldabaoth then? Yaldabaoth, you could say, is this representation. You could even say almost like a massive archetypal representation of what this other species is trying to harvest our human potential. Okay? So now we can look at the Gnosticism perspective of Yaldabaoth from an even wider, zoomed out lens, knowing that it's something extraterrestrial, interdimensional, that is completely different from what we are as human beings, but not all different. Meaning, in regards to our astral bodies, which is the bodies of the human being that is lucid, we carry some of those exact same properties as this other species carries as well. So we are technically, although we are solid bodies, we are a human species which is unique, carries a lot of light matter energy. Our transcendental side of our beings as the human are also interdimensional as well. And we can travel in those same dark energy multiverses as these other beings that are different species than we are. Okay? Which is a very unique concept to bring into this planet Earth. But yeah, taking it back to the point, Yaldabaoth, being this other species, you could think, is trying to design the multiverse that we live in to be directly programmed to feed itself energy from our planet. Okay? So you can easily see this when you go outside, or when you look at the news, or when you talk to people that are not embracing their own spiritual self evolution. You can see that people are concerned with some of the most dumb, mundane issues that you could even conjure within your consciousness. Okay, people are concerned about the dumbest shit. Okay, there are so many things that can be understood and can be embraced that have to do with the unknown, that have to do with your unconscious, your subconscious. I mean, the majority of the universe is dark energy. There's so many things that can be embraced, yet people are concerned about drama. People are concerned about what this person thinks of them. People are concerned about their reputation more than their evolution. People are concerned about their image more than who they actually are. So you can see that there's something that has created the human species to be a race of headless chickens running in circles to harvest energy from these headless chickens. Okay? And once again, when it comes to the Yaldabaoth perspective, that would be another species, an interdimensional, transcendental type of being, not like the human, that is aware of technologies to a much more advanced level than what we currently understand in our modern scientific perspective. Okay? So yeah, so that's literally what Yaldabaoth is, and how Yaldabaoth manifests. So when it comes to the archangels, when it comes to the archdemons, when it comes to lesser angels, when it comes to lesser demons, these are all spirits that have been created by the Yaldaboath. And the Yaldaboath has had rulership over these spirits for a very long time. So what does this mean? This means that when it comes to angels, when it comes to demons and all these other things in between, you could literally think of most of these forces as being programs that were created by these interdimensional species being run on our planet to cause certain types of physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual influence. So, I know this can be a little bit hard to understand, but when it comes to angels and when it comes to demons, as we know, or as you should know if you study my channel, angels are programmed for creation. Okay? Demons are programmed for deletion. Okay? You have creative beings and you have destructive beings. You could think of these, although they are spirits and they have taken on their own archetypal existence in their own right, something had created these beings. And it was primarily an interdimensional, extraterrestrial, highly advanced, technologically based species that has created these beings that we now call angels and demons. Okay, that's why Yaldaboath was said to have created angels and demons and has had rulership over them. All that means is that there's another extraterrestrial species out there that's using angelic forces and demonic forces as if it's a program that they have direct knowledge of and how to use practically to influence the human race. Okay? Now, with this being shared and with this being said, obviously this is a big red pill. You probably haven't heard this almost anywhere else. So that's why I recommend, if you know anybody that's interested in this type of information, definitely feel free to share the link of this YouTube video to anybody, family, friends, social medias that would like to really uncover that Gnostic veil. This is the real Gnostic veil, okay? And obviously it's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. You either take it or you don't. But long story short, because of this Yaldaboath and the influence that Yaldabaoth has over the spiritual forces, angelic, demonic, elemental, even the matrix on our planet, connecting back to Kabbalah, the multiverse, things in that nature, does that mean that humanity or the human being is hopeless? Does that mean that the human species cannot reach their highest potential? And the answer is no. The answer is absolutely not. And we see this being depicted very clearly from the Gnostic tradition of Pistis Sophia, which you could also correlate to some form of dark feminine energy, as I've mentioned multiple times on my YouTube channel, which is obviously, as I'm sharing right now, directly connected to the ancient Gnostic belief of this Pistis Sophia, which comes to burn down and destroy Yaldabaoth. Okay, so there is this other force, which you could think of as another interdimensional, extraterrestrial, transcendental type of force out there that we may not fully understand to our conscious perspective, that is directly influencing the mass collective as well, on top of Yaldabaoth. Okay? So what exactly does this represent? Okay? This means that although we live in a multiverse where people are trained and programmed to be headless chickens, going through the motions, finding themselves trapped in hell multiverses, there is another force out there that is close to the source, which to those of you that don't know what the source represents, it means total evolution and non-chaos. So there is a force, a feminine force out there that is programmed to bring this source influence, this evolutionary influence, which means the Yaldaboath program cannot last and does not last for eternity, does not last forever. Rather, from a higher perspective, this is an evolutionary pattern. So, what this means is that the human species has complete potential to reach their highest potential, although we all live in a multiverse that's highly influenced by Yaldabaoth. Okay, although we live in a multiverse which is very confusing, very misleading, and is structured against you reaching your highest potential, there is other forces out there similar to the mythology of Enki and Enlil. One of those forces, being Enki, set out to help humanity evolve, while the other one wanted humanity completely controlled and in a slave-like perspective. So, once again, as we are finding ourselves in this multiverse ruled by this Yaldabaoth program, that does not mean we are trapped in that forever. So this is why there are occultists in today's time who are embracing the totality of the occult field, which means there are occultists like myself. I am one of them, one of the few. There are not many that are doing this, that are embracing all of these different types of archetypal energies, we could call them. All these different forces going directly to the source of these forces. What we're not doing, this is why we are few from the majority, is we are not following the mainstream occult orders, be it the Golden Dawn, the OTO, the Knights Templars, the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons. What we're not doing is we're not listening or going through the ritualistic programming of these orders. Rather, we are intuiting, using that feminine aspect of our own being, going directly to the source of these energies. So I'm not saying that we don't know or we don't study anything from these different occult orders. I'm not saying that, but what we are doing is we are using our knowledge to go directly to the source and basically interact directly with the archetypes that are ruling this planet. Now, as someone does that, as a skilled and advanced magician does that, or someone who pursues that path, which is rare but does happen, you start to gain control over these archetypal energies, which used to be only controlled by the Yaldabaoth, this extraterrestrial, transcendental, interdimensional species. Okay? Now, this is information you haven't heard anywhere. Okay? So, stay with me here. Only if you want to. I mean, if you don't want to, sign off. But, so, as you gain control of these archetypes, be it the angelic, the demonic, primarily the demonic, then you can reprogram those archetypes to attack the beings that are programmed by the Yaldabaoth. So, in a nutshell, you can take control of the technology and direct the technology on the Archons, which are the pawns of the Yaldabaoth on our planet today. Okay? Now, what this is going to do is this is going to usurp the entire system of Yaldaboath. This is going to start breaking down the multiverse, which, as we talked about earlier, is exactly what the Pistis Sophia in the Gnostic tradition was designated and destined to do. So we're living out in our today's time the exact Gnostic history, which also goes back to the Sumerian history with Enki and Enlil, of destroying the demiurge, the Yaldaboath, the chaotic interdimensional species that's been trying to keep humanity in a slave-like, energetic, harvesting state of being. Okay? And once again, I'm explaining, if you are listening to what I'm saying, I'm explaining some of the golden nuggets of how to take advantage of this evolutionary pathway. I am the Lucifer in this moment, giving you the light of the true path to your highest evolution. Okay? In this regards, literally with what I'm sharing, the key, and I'll say it again, pay attention, the key is to, one, walk the path of the occult, walk the path of the true occultist, the one who's willing to go through initiations and come face to face with a lot of these archetypal energies. And as you do that, as you invoke and go directly to the source of these energies, not following these other orders and doing their rituals that they tell you to do, telling you to invoke Yahweh, telling you to invoke the Elohim and all these archangels while you're speaking to demonic forces, which is an entire formula to fuck you over. Rather than that, just go to the source yourself. Go speak to Lucifer. Okay? Go speak to Satan. Go speak to Baphomet. Go speak to Moloch. Okay? Go speak to Lilith. Go speak to Napaht. Go speak to Samael. Go speak to Adrammelech. Go speak to Lucifuge. Go speak to Beelzebub. Go speak to Belial. Speak to all them. Speak to all the Ars Goetia. Speak to the archangels and figure out for yourself what's really going on. Now, as you do this, you will find that it takes you on a journey, a spiritual and physical journey. Your life will change. Now, a lot of people are going to freak out and they'll get scared as their life starts to change. And there will be very few, 1 out of a million, that will recognize this is the true path of evolution. And that's what I did. Okay? Now, the key, just like also mentioned in the Gnostic tradition and also within Judaic tradition, remember what they tell you. Pay attention. Remember what they tell you. They say, do not eat from the tree of knowledge. You can abide, live, enjoy, and thrive in the Garden of Eden, eating from the tree of life, but don't you ever eat from the tree of knowledge. Don't you ever even think about it, because that is the one rule and the one commandment we, as the Archons, we as this interdimensional, extraterrestrial, transcendental, advanced, technological species that's alien-like in nature to the human species, that's the one thing that we do not want you to do. Now, of course, that brings up the question of, why is that? Why can't we eat from the tree of knowledge? Okay. Now, the tree of knowledge is exactly what I just mentioned about a minute ago when I was speaking about go to the source of these forces, the dark energy forces. Because truly, what are they? They are programs that are used on you and the mass collective to keep you ignorant until you embrace them properly and then go through the evolutionary steps that they start to influence you with. They are programs. Think of it like if you've ever watched The Ninja Warrior. You have somebody that's at the starting point, and then the goal is to get to the end point. And to get from point A to point B, you have to go through all these different obstacles. When you are embracing the occult, there are hidden obstacles that are astral, interdimensional, but manifest physically in your real life. And this is what's known as an initiation. This is what's known to the most professional occultists as going through an initiation. Now, you can fail an initiation, just like someone doing Ninja Warrior can fail, and you can pass through an initiation. Okay? So, this is what will take place. You will go through, quote unquote, initiations as you begin invoking the source of these archdemonic forces under the scope of evolution, trying to achieve your highest source potential, which basically means breaking out of the matrix, breaking out of the Yaldaboath programmed multiverse, which you can gain a strong awareness of by studying Kabbalah. Okay? Kabbalah is the multiverse in all of its different aspects. So this is a lot of secret information that I'm sharing right now, but this is the key. And this, obviously, what I was just saying earlier, is what was told to you to not partake of the tree of knowledge. And what the tree of knowledge truly is universe B of the multiverse. It is the Klipothic aspect of the multiverse. And the way that you can gain entrance into that Klipothic multiverse to gain power from it is through the archetype and interdimensional force of Lucifer, as I've mentioned before, and as I've also mentioned on Patreon. Okay? So why is it in these ancient traditions it was mentioned to not eat of the tree of knowledge by the Archons and by Yaldaboath and by Yahweh, God? It's because, once again, these are the forces that are being used by the Yaldaboath, by the Archons. This is why you see it show up in all these different A-list communities, whether it's the music industry, the movie industry, the TV industry, fashion industry, major corporations, everything. They're using this dark energy matter programming, be it the archdemons, the Ars Goetia, the tunnels of Set. They're using this on the mass collective. This is what's residing within the tree of knowledge. And they are eating of that tree to control the mass collective. Now, what happens if a human, under the influence of Lucifer, Enki, Pistis Sophia, the dark feminine mother force, coming to harvest all of Yaldabaoth's creation, also known as the Black Dragon, Amalek? What happens when you're influenced by that force and you start to gain the power of the tree of knowledge and you start to control, as Lucifer took control of the underworld? What happens when you start to control the Klipothic regions, the underworld? What naturally happens, once again, if you're under the influence of that source evolution, the Pistis Sophia, the Amalek, the Dark Mother, the Lucifer, the Enki, then you are going to use that programming, you're going to use those forces on the Archons and the Yaldabaoth itself. And what this is going to do is this is going to do what exactly has been prophesied, where the multiverse, previously controlled by Yaldabaoth, burns to the ground and then is re-established under a new order of source evolution, therefore pushing the mass collective into the golden age within time to come. Okay? This is all prophesied. This is nothing I'm making up. But this is the key to reaching your highest evolutionary potential. And this is why you see in today's time, there are not many people that are aware of what it is that I'm sharing because they're living in a multiverse strategically built, intentionally built to confuse them, to invert them. And you see this very clearly on the Kabbalistic tree with the pillars being inverted. You have the masculine and the feminine pillar inverted. And this is why Yaldaboath is masculine and Amalek, the dark feminine mother who comes to destroy Yaldabaoth, is feminine. So of course you need to invert these two energies to keep everything locked into a state of chaos until the prophesied time comes to pass, which is literally where we find ourselves right now. And it makes complete sense that the big shift happened in 2020 with the pandemic releasing, which is the exact numerological value of all aspects of the multiverse, which is 2020. You have 10 spheres on the Kabbalistic tree going up, 10 spheres on the Kabbalistic tree going down, also known as the Sephiroth and the Qliphoth. And then behind the Sephiroth, you have the shadow spheres connected with the tunnels of Set, therefore making another 10 spheres of shadow spheres. And then behind the Qliphoth, you have another 10 spheres, which is the realm of the Dark Mother, the Amalek, the Black Dragon. So 2020 was the exact prophesied designated year for this information to become Lucifer-like, known to the mass collective at least, not necessarily taken advantage of yet. We still have some time until that starts taking place, and it will unfold naturally, but it's the designated year that the multiverse is now starting to crash and burn so that it can then be rebuilt once it comes down to ashes, okay? Which is not a comfortable process. Think of it as a mass collective ego death. That is one of the most profound ego deaths you've ever been through, where you have to completely surrender to pass over into a new awareness that is based around your unconscious and subconscious and more feminine-like in nature, more receptive to the unknown, recognizing you don't know everything and that you need to let go of certain attachments of things you have been programmed to believe were true in your lifetime. Okay? So obviously, I shared a lot of information in this video. I'm going to keep it there. There will be more to come, a lot more to come, but do what you will with this information. Once again, I'm not here to convince you of what I'm saying is true or even what I'm saying is real. I know what's real. I know what's true. I know what's happening. That's why I speak about it. Simply, if you don't agree with me, if you don't like what I'm saying, that's fine. You don't have to be here. You don't have to watch. If you want to watch and you want to challenge what it is that I'm speaking about, then go ahead and do that. But what I'm doing is just presenting what is happening. And for those of you that are listening, this is the opportunity to recognize what's truly going on. This is really what's going on behind the veil, behind the veil, behind the veil. This is the veil that not even the people that say they're seeing behind the veil are aware of. Okay? And deep down, people are aware of what I'm talking about, but it is very hard to embrace. Okay? Now, once again, why do I know what I know? Why am I speaking about what I'm speaking about? I am an actual professional occultist who has gone to the source of these forces, spoken to these archetypes, communicated, went through challenge, went through initiations, came face to face with chaos, had to let go to basically move through chaos, had to become chaos to overcome chaos. Okay? And this is where my perspective is coming from. Now, I would say not many people have that perspective, and that's why. But there are other people out there that do. So keep your ears open for anyone listening. Keep your ears open to the wisdom that is the secret wisdom that is not so often being understood and talked about in the mainstream. Okay? So once again, I'm going to leave it there. I know there was a lot of like riddles that I may have sort of embedded within this video that was kind of like a interesting way to present this information, but that's exactly what I'm trying to do. And my goal is to open up your mind, not to change it, but to just give the opportunity to those of you that are going to take it, because I know for a fact there are people that are listening to this and that are going to listen to this that are going to take full advantage of this information. I know for a fact there will be many that discard it and then later down the road will recognize the mistake they made. And once again, I'm not here to save you. I'm not here to save anybody. I'm here to present what is happening and display it publicly. Okay? So that's going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure you go ahead and you hit that thumbs up. Okay? Also, make sure you hit the notification bell because I post videos as often as I can. And obviously, with information like this, you do not want to miss out on any of this information. Okay? And make sure you go right down there where I'm pointing right now. That's going to be where you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are not yet subscribed, then what in the world are you doing? Okay, now obviously if you're new to my channel, this is the first video you've ever seen, that makes sense. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed the video. But if you've been watching my videos and you are not yet subscribed, then what are you doing? Go ahead and subscribe. Okay, tune in. Let's get a little more awareness there, okay? And also, I would like to take your awareness to a link that is within my YouTube description. Now, within this link, you can become a Facebook member in my private Facebook group. So simply, once again, if you go to my YouTube description and you scroll more so towards the bottom, you will see a link that will take you to my private Facebook group. Go ahead and follow that link, okay? And request to join the private Facebook group, and I will add you in. What I do there is I let my followers know, anyone who's in the group, I let everyone who's in the group know when I'm going to be going live on YouTube. Oftentimes I will make everyone aware. And I also sometimes post in there exclusively in regards to like some form of general post with a picture. Sometimes I do polls in regards to YouTube video recommendations. And also, it's a community of like-minded people. So if you want to go in there and start talking to people that are into the occult sciences, then that's the place to go. Okay, so check it out. Now, if you know anyone that is family, friends on your social media, or just your social media platform in general, that is interested in this type of information, that you know that this could potentially offer value to, you have my full permission to completely share this link. Go ahead and copy the link and share it. Let's spread this information like wildfire, okay? Now, most importantly, this is literally the most important place that I would like to take your awareness. Definitely look into my YouTube description. This time, the very top of the YouTube description, there is going to be that very first link that you see right there. What that's going to do is it's going to take you to my Patreon. Okay, now on my Patreon, that is going to be an exclusive place for exclusive knowledge, for exclusive people that are going to take their knowledge to the other side. Okay. Now, obviously, what I have on my Patreon is not on my YouTube channel. There are well over 100 posts that range from live streams, that range from blog posts, that range from actual occult fundamental practices that I demonstrate on camera and then teach you how to do yourself. That ranges from Kabbalistic teachings going through all the spheres I mean, there is a wealth and a vault of exclusive information and practice on my Patreon. So if that's something you're interested in, going all the way up to a magic training course for tier 3 and up, and then tier 4, the vampire service, which is an actual service that I perform on the top tier members of my Patreon uh, every month for the new participants. Okay, this is my most popular tier, and that's for many reasons. What I do is I permanently, being a professional occult, this is obviously something I can do. I permanently change your energetic body to be more universe B dominant, which means you're basically more able to exist within dark energy matter realms. So what that means is when it comes to archdemonic forces or dark energetic forces, you are no longer a victim to those forces. Rather, you become the anti-Yaldaboath, and you can start feeding on chaos in your environment, therefore increasing your evolutionary potential and power over time. Okay, and there are exclusive videos for the top tier vampire service members as well to basically train you on how to use that energetic ability. Okay, so once again, if you're interested in the Patreon, definitely look into the first link below. And huge shout out to all of the Patreon members. I appreciate all of you. Okay, now the second link that I'd like to take your awareness to is simply where you can book a tarot card reading with me. Okay, now on this tarot card reading, it is not like any reading that you've ever seen before. Rather, this is something that I can specifically do because I am a professional occultist and I understand the Kabbalistic initiatory system. So what I do primarily is I can pinpoint where you are located on your Kabbalistic initiatory journey. I can pinpoint where you are, which sphere you're in, and then I can tell you where you're headed in your near and long-term future, also giving you the experiences of what is about to take place in your near and long-term future, as well as your present moment. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely look into booking a tarot card reading with me. And as of right now, I've done roughly 200 readings so far for the time that the service has been out. It is a very valuable service. A lot of people are taking advantage of it. And to be quite honest, I don't plan on always doing that for the rest of my life. So this is a service that will not always be available. The price will go up over time. Right now it's $40 per reading. So if this is something that you want to fully take advantage of, definitely look into it. Second link below. Next thing that I would like to take your awareness to is the third link within my YouTube description. Now, this is going to be where you can become a YouTube member. So as you become a YouTube member, what happens is whenever I do my live streams, your name is going to appear as green, which means, excuse me, I'm always going to give you a special shout out as I see you appear on the live stream. And every single month that you are a YouTube member, you have access to leaving a specific question or statement, it's up to you, that appears in the exact same manner as a super chat. And I treat it the exact same way. So for those of you that don't know, on my live streams, whenever people have questions that they want to get answered, first and foremost, and guaranteed, they leave super chats and I answer them. So that's what you'll have access to. Now, most importantly, for the YouTube members, you will have access to my exclusive emoji system, which I specifically, intentionally designed to be used in a psychic warfare manner, tapping directly into the metaverse, making it one of the most simplified systems of using black magic to remove your quote unquote enemies in your day-to-day life, psychically speaking. Okay? So if you want to educate yourself on exactly what is going on with the psychic warfare program, then I have a YouTube video that is designed to do so. And it is called, in parentheses, if you scroll through my videos, you'll find it, in parentheses, members only, followed by psychic warfare program. So that's where you'll find it. Now, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that's everything that I wanted to take your awareness to. I just want to say this. I appreciate all of you. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. or night, wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.